Mind-bending thinking, the secret guide to unlimited power. Chapter 1. Understanding conventional thought patterns. Why do we think the way we do? Societal norms and cultural influences profoundly shape our thought patterns. You grow up within a certain culture, with its norms, values, and expectations. This environment molds your worldview, beliefs, and thought processes. It's an unconscious process of absorbing information, but it's the reason why you think the way you do. The human brain is a pattern-seeking machine. It craves order and similarity. That's why you tend to stick to what you know, what you're comfortable with, and what you've been taught. This comfort zone of familiar patterns becomes your conventional thought process. It's predictable, safe, and doesn't require much effort. But it can also limit your perspective, creativity, and problem-solving capabilities. Now imagine each thought pattern as a well-trodden path in your brain. The more you walk down a certain path, the more ingrained it becomes. These paths are your habits of thought, your automatic responses to situations. Often they serve you well, but sometimes they lead you to the same old solutions, the same old ideas, the same old mistakes. Chapter 2. Breaking free from norms. Breaking free from norms is a formidable yet liberating process. It's not about rebelling for rebellion's sake, but about questioning the status quo to ignite your critical thinking and open the door to unlimited power. Your first step is understanding why you're adhering to certain norms in the first place. Often it's due to societal and cultural expectations, fear of backlash, or simply habit. You're not truly free until you've examined these influences and made conscious decisions about which you'll embrace or reject. That's not to say all norms are negative. Some provide structure and stability. But it's crucial to distinguish between norms that serve you and those that stifle your growth. Ask yourself, do these norms align with my values and goals? Are they helping me to think creatively and critically? If not, it's time to break free. Overcoming the fear of judgment is central to this process. You must be willing to stand alone, to be misunderstood or ridiculed. Remember, it's your life and your mind. You have every right to think and act in ways that empower you. Finally, breaking free from norms involves a commitment to lifelong learning. Constantly challenge your beliefs, seek diverse perspectives, and absorb new knowledge. This is the path to a mind-bending thinking that defies the ordinary and unleashes limitless potential. In the next section, we'll explore how to tap into your creative consciousness, another key element in this journey towards unlimited power. Chapter 3. Tapping into creative consciousness. Having unchained yourself from restrictive norms, you're now poised to explore the expansive domains of your creative consciousness. This is the sphere where ideas sprout, innovate, and transform into tangible realities. It's an uncharted territory, vast and deep, filled with immense potential waiting to be harnessed. Tapping into your creative consciousness isn't about fabricating ideas out of thin air. It's about attuning yourself to an underutilized part of your mind. It's about actively engaging with your thoughts, experiences, and emotions, then channeling them into novel and creative outputs. Your mind is a treasure trove of thoughts, memories, and experiences. They're all interconnected in complex and fascinating ways. Your task isn't to create these connections, but to uncover them. You do this by questioning, by observing, by daring to think differently. But remember, this isn't a process you rush. Patience is key. Like a gardener tending to seeds, you must give your ideas the time and space they need to grow. Nurture them, cultivate them, and eventually you'll see them flourish. In this journey, you're not alone. You're accompanied by the greatest tool in your arsenal, your mind. Approach it with curiosity, not judgment. Embrace its quirks, its eccentricities. It's in this acceptance that you'll find your creative consciousness blooming, ready to present you with ideas that not only bend minds but also shape worlds. Chapter 4. The Power of Lateral Thinking. Think of lateral thinking as a mental gear shift, allowing you to switch from traditional, linear thought processes into more flexible, innovative ones. It's not about following the well-trodden path, it's about forging your own. You're not confined to the straight and narrow. Instead, you're exploring the breadth and depth of your own mind, seeking out new connections, and looking at things from different angles. Lateral thinking is all about challenging the status quo. You're not accepting things as they are, but questioning them, probing them, and turning them inside out. You're not just thinking outside the box, you're denying the existence of the box altogether. You're not just solving problems, you're redefining them. The power of lateral thinking lies in its ability to disrupt stagnation and stimulate creativity. It's a catalyst for innovation and a conduit for change. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach, it's tailored to your unique thought processes and taps into your individual creativity. It's not about right or wrong, it's about possibility and potential. Chapter 5. Embracing Paradoxical Ideas. Paradoxical ideas, much like a two-sided coin, can stimulate your mind in ways you've never imagined. They're the mental gymnastics your brain craves, challenging conventional wisdom and demanding you to think outside the box. They're not always easy to grasp, but that's precisely the point. The harder you work to understand a paradox, the more your mind expands. Take, for example, the paradox of the ship of Theseus. As this ancient tale goes, a ship, over time, has all its parts replaced. Is it still the same ship? This paradox pushes you to question the nature of identity. Is it tied to physicality, or is it something more abstract? Or consider the paradox of the unstoppable force meeting an immovable object. What happens when the two collide? This paradox encourages you to ponder on the nature of power and resistance and how they interact. Embracing paradoxical ideas doesn't mean accepting them as truths. It means understanding that not everything has a clear-cut answer. It's about being comfortable in the uncertainty, the ambiguity, and learning to navigate through it. You see, paradoxes are more than just mind-boggling riddles. They're tools that force you to question, to analyze, and to think critically. They break down your mental walls, expanding your perspective and pushing your cognitive boundaries. Chapter 6. Cultivating a Curious Mindset. In the domain of intellectual growth, nothing fuels progress quite like a curious mindset. It's the engine that drives your desire to learn, to explore, to question. By cultivating curiosity, you're not just expanding your knowledge base, but also enhancing your ability to think critically and creatively. A curious mindset isn't something you're born with, it's a skill that you can build. It starts with developing a genuine interest in the world around you. You've got to be open to new ideas, people, cultures, and experiences. It's about being present, attentive, and observant. It's about embracing the joy of discovering something new and the thrill of solving a complex problem. To cultivate a curious mindset, you need to make learning a habit. Read widely and diversely. Engage in discussions, debates, and intellectual exchanges. Don't be afraid to ask questions, even if they seem silly or irrelevant. Remember, there are no stupid questions when you're on a quest for knowledge. But curiosity isn't just about gathering information. It's also about reflecting on what you've learned, making connections, and applying your knowledge in new and innovative ways. This requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to take risks. It's about challenging yourself, pushing your boundaries, and stepping out of your comfort zone. Chapter 7. Challenging Assumptions Daily. Regularly challenging your assumptions can be a transformative practice in your intellectual journey. It's not just about questioning what you believe, but understanding why you believe it. By scrutinizing your assumptions daily, you're making a conscious effort to expand your mind and shatter cognitive biases that could be limiting your thinking. Don't assume that your initial perspective is always correct. Instead, consider it as a hypothesis to be tested. Seek out information that contradicts your assumption It'll help you develop a more nuanced understanding of the topic at hand. Keep in mind, it's not about proving yourself right or wrong, but about learning and growing. Make it a daily habit to ask yourself, what assumptions am I making and why do I believe this to be true? This self-interrogation will force you to peel back layers of your thought process and challenge the underlying beliefs. Remember, it's okay to be wrong. In fact, it's beneficial. Errors and missteps aren't signs of weakness, but opportunities for learning and refinement. Embracing this mindset can lead to breakthroughs in understanding, fostering a more flexible and adaptable intellect. Chapter 8. Navigating uncertainty effectively. Mastering uncertainty effectively can seem like a formidable task. Yet, it's a vital skill you need to tap into to release your mind-bending thinking potential. It involves accepting that the future is unpredictable and embracing the unknown, a concept that can be rather intimidating. However, once you face it head-on, you'll find it's not as overwhelming as it first appears. The first step is to shift your perspective. Instead of viewing uncertainty as a barrier, look at it as an opportunity for discovery and growth. It's a chance to test your adaptability and resilience, to problem solve in real time, and to learn from the outcomes. Next, develop a proactive strategy. This doesn't mean you'll have a solution for every potential issue, but rather you're prepared to tackle them as they arise. Stay flexible, be open to new ideas, and don't be afraid to make adjustments along the way. Remember, it's okay to feel uncomfortable. It's natural to fear what we don't know, but in this discomfort, you'll find your greatest opportunities for growth. Allow yourself to sit with this uncertainty, to question it, and to learn from it. Finally, practice mindfulness. The present moment is the only thing you can truly control. Chapter 9. Unleashing Inner Genius Potential. Tapping into your inner genius potential might seem like a formidable task, but it's far from impossible. The key to harnessing this abundant resource lies in understanding its nature. Your genius isn't just about your intellectual capacity, it's about your unique blend of talents, skills, and passions. It's about what makes you you. Your inner genius thrives on curiosity. It yearns for challenges and craves exploration. Acknowledge its existence and encourage its growth. Cultivate a sense of wonder and don't shy away from asking questions. Questions are the catalysts that spark your genius into action. Next, you need to build the right environment for your genius to flourish. This involves surrounding yourself with the right influences, the kind that inspire and motivate you. Reject the status quo and embrace the unconventional. This approach is bound to ruffle some feathers, but remember, it's your journey and you're in the driver's seat. Believe in your inner genius. Trust that it's there, even if it's not readily apparent. It might be buried under years of self-doubt, fear, and societal conditioning, but it's never too late to unshackle it. Be patient with yourself and keep pushing your boundaries. Lastly, don't forget to celebrate your wins. Each small victory takes you one step closer to fully realizing your genius potential. Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So strap in for an exciting voyage of self-discovery and let your inner genius shine. Chapter 10. Overcoming Fear of Failure. The specter of failure can loom large, often becoming an invisible barrier that impedes your journey to tapping your inner genius. It's a pervasive phobia that feeds off your insecurities and inhibits your ability to think creatively. However, it's vital to understand that failure isn't an endpoint, but a stepping stone to success. Fear of failure can stem from various sources: societal pressure, self-doubt, past experiences, or even perfectionism. You might fear the judgment of others, the disappointment of not meeting your high standards, or the pain of repeating past mistakes. These fears can paralyze you, causing you to stagnate and miss out on opportunities for growth. The first step to overcoming this fear is to change your perspective. Understand that failure is an integral part of the learning process. It's through failure that you gain valuable insights and learn lessons that can propel you forward. Embrace it as a teacher, not a tormentor. Next, build your resilience. The more resilient you are, the better you'll be able to bounce back from setbacks. This involves cultivating a positive mindset, maintaining a supportive network, and developing effective coping strategies. Lastly, set realistic goals and expectations. This doesn't mean you should aim low. Rather, it's about recognizing that success doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, effort, and often several attempts. Chapter 11. The Art of Asking Provocative Questions. As you set realistic goals and work to overcome your fear of failure, you'll find that asking provocative questions can become a powerful tool in your intellectual arsenal. These aren't your run-of-the-mill questions. They're designed to challenge assumptions, stir curiosity, and ignite thoughtful and innovative discussions. Remember, the goal isn't to throw people off balance or to show off your intellectual prowess. It's to foster a deeper understanding and explore possibilities that might otherwise remain hidden. For instance, a question like "Why do we do things this way?" can uncover entrenched practices that no longer serve their purpose. It forces you and others to critically evaluate the status quo and think creatively about new approaches. Asking provocative questions also helps you uncover nuances and complexities in any topic. It's easy to accept surface-level answers, but the real juice is often found in the unexplored depths. Questions like, what assumptions are we making here? Or what if we tried a different approach? Encourage this kind of deep thinking. To truly master this art, remember to stay open-minded and listen carefully to the responses you receive. You're not seeking to confirm your own ideas, but to expand your understanding and challenge your thinking. And don't forget to be patient. The best answers often take time to surface. Embrace provocative questions as a means to stimulate mind-bending thinking, and you'll access a world of intellectual potential you never knew you possessed. Chapter 12. Finding Patterns in Chaos. Delving into chaos might seem counterintuitive, but it's often within this disorder that you can uncover hidden patterns. You're not looking for orderliness, you're searching for meaning. Your mind is a powerful tool, capable of discerning patterns where others might only see randomness. Imagine you're looking at a Jackson Pollock painting. To some, it's just a mess of splattered paint. But if you approach it with a keen eye, you'll start to see patterns, rhythms, and themes that emerge from the chaos. You'll find a certain beauty in the disorder, an order in the chaos. That's what you're aiming for in your thinking. This isn't about forcing order onto chaos. It's about recognizing the inherent patterns that exist within it. It's about training your mind to be flexible, to adapt to the unexpected, and to find coherence in the seemingly incoherent. To find patterns in chaos, you need to step back and take a holistic view. You can't focus on individual elements. You need to see how they interact, how they influence each other, and how they contribute to the larger picture. It's a skill that requires practice but can be honed with time. Chapter 13. Mastering the Art of Reframing. Mastering the art of reframing is a journey into the domain of perspective. This process involves shifting your viewpoint to see a situation, a problem, or an obstacle from a new angle. You're not altering the reality, you're merely changing your interpretation of it. It's a powerful mental tool that can reveal fresh insights and solutions. Imagine you're in a maze. You've hit a dead end and can't seem to find a way out. Now, instead of feeling stuck, you decide to reframe the situation. The dead end is no longer an obstacle but a cue to seek alternate paths. It's not the maze that's difficult, it's your current strategy that needs tweaking. The maze hasn't changed, your perception has. Reframing isn't about denying the reality or sugarcoating the situation. It's about flexibility in thinking, about finding the silver lining in the gray cloud, about turning stumbling blocks into stepping stones. It's about harnessing the power of your mind to transform your experience. Developing this skill is vital for mind-bending thinking. It helps you break free from rigid thought patterns, empowers you to approach problems creatively, and broadens your perspective. It encourages you to question your assumptions, challenge your beliefs, and see the world with fresh eyes. The art of reframing, then, is an essential tool for those desiring to tap into unlimited power. Chapter 14. Disrupting status quo thinking. Sometimes, you might find yourself trapped in the confines of conventional thinking, accepting the status quo because that's just how things are. This mentality, while comforting in its familiarity, can stifle creativity and limit your potential for growth. Disrupting status quo thinking means breaking free from these mental constraints, daring to question established norms, and seeking innovative solutions. To disrupt the status quo, you must first acknowledge it. Consider the assumptions or truths you've always accepted without question. Are they absolute? Are they serving your best interest? Understanding that the status quo isn't an immovable force but a construct that can be challenged is the first step towards disrupting it. Next is fostering curiosity. Curiosity by nature is a disruptor. It pushes you to ask questions, to dig deeper, and to seek new perspectives. It encourages you to look beyond the familiar and explore the unknown. It's through curiosity that you can begin to see the cracks in the status quo and discover the potential for change. Finally, embrace risk. Disrupting the status quo often involves stepping outside of your comfort zone and taking on risk. This can be intimidating, but it's a necessary part of the process. Remember, it's through risk that growth occurs. Chapter 15. Building mental models. After you've disrupted the status quo and embraced risk, your next challenge is to build mental models. These are basically cognitive frameworks that you construct to help understand and interpret the world around you. They're like mental blueprints that guide your thought processes, decision-making, and behavior. Consider mental models as tools for your mind's toolbox. Just as a carpenter wouldn't use a single tool for all jobs, you shouldn't rely on one mental model for all situations. You must build an array of models to handle the wide spectrum of challenges you'll encounter. To begin, observe your thinking patterns. Recognize that your thoughts aren't random, they're structured by underlying models. Be aware of these models and question their accuracy. Are they helping you make sense of the world, or are they limiting your perspective? Next, actively seek out new models. Read widely, engage in diverse experiences, and learn from various fields. The more models you have, the better equipped you'll be to understand complex issues and find innovative solutions. For example, learning about the Pareto principle might help you prioritize tasks, while understanding the confirmation bias could prevent you from making poor decisions based on preconceived notions. Finally, constantly refine your models. They're not static, they evolve with experience and knowledge. Challenge your models, test their validity, and improve them. This iterative process helps solidify your mental models aren't just robust, but also adaptable. Chapter 16. Thinking in multiple dimensions. A three-dimensional perspective might be commonplace in spatial contexts, but applying it to your thought processes could be groundbreaking. This type of thinking, often termed as multidimensional thinking, isn't about seeing things in 3D, but rather, it's about considering multiple aspects, perspectives, or dimensions of a problem or a situation simultaneously. It's much like viewing a sculpture. You're not just seeing it from the front, but you're walking around it, observing it from all angles, and understanding its depth, shape, and texture. This exhaustive view allows you to see things that aren't immediately apparent from a single viewpoint. It's the same with your thoughts. Now, how do you develop this kind of thinking? First, you need to accept that every situation or problem has multiple aspects. This acceptance is the foundation of multidimensional thinking. You're not stuck with one perspective, you have options, and it's your job to uncover them. Second, cultivate an open mind. This means being receptive to new ideas, even if they contradict your initial thoughts. Remember, even if an idea seems outlandish, it's just another dimension to the situation. Finally, try to practice empathy. Chapter 17. Unraveling complex problems. In tackling complex problems, you might initially feel overwhelmed. You're not alone. It's a common reaction when faced with a task that appears insurmountable. However, with a systematic approach and the right mindset, you're more than capable of unraveling even the most complicated scenarios. First, it's vital to break down the problem into smaller, manageable parts. Don't try to swallow the whole beast at once. It's much easier to take it one bite at a time. This process of decomposition allows you to isolate individual elements, making them less intimidating and more approachable. Next, consider each part within the context of the overall problem. Understanding how each piece interacts with the others is key to finding a solution. It's like piecing together a puzzle. Each piece has its role, and you need to figure out where it fits. Also, don't shy away from questioning assumptions. Often we're hindered by preconceived notions about how things should be. Challenge these assumptions. You might find that what you initially perceived as a barrier is, in fact, a guidepost directing you towards the solution. Finally, keep an open mind. Be adaptable and willing to change your approach if necessary. Problem solving isn't a linear path. It's a twisting journey that requires flexibility and resilience. Unraveling complex problems is no easy feat, but with patience, perseverance, and a systematic approach, you'll find that you're more than capable. Chapter 18. Unlocking intuitive insights. Quantum leaps in understanding often come from intuitive insights. You've probably experienced this, a sudden aha moment, when a solution to a problem you've been wrestling with seems to just pop into your head. It's not magic, but rather the power of your intuitive mind at work. Intuition isn't some mystical power, but a natural, inherent ability that you possess. It's simply the brain processing information at an unconscious level, making connections between seemingly unrelated data. Your intuition can provide insights and solutions that your logical, conscious mind might overlook. Unlocking these intuitive insights requires cultivating a mindset of openness and curiosity. You've got to be willing to let go of preconceived notions and listen to your inner voice. This doesn't mean abandoning logic. Instead, it's about balancing your rational thought processes with your intuitive ones. Practices such as mindfulness and meditation can help you tune into your intuition. Chapter 19. The Science of Mind Bending. Before diving into the science of mind bending, it's vital to grasp the basics. Let's start with the brain, your command center. It's a complex machine that interprets and processes information. It generates thoughts, which are nothing but electric signals darting between neurons. But here's the catch: your brain isn't just a passive receptor. It actively shapes the world you perceive. This is where mind bending gets its footing. Mind bending, fundamentally, is the ability to modify your mental landscape. It's about mastering your thoughts and molding them to create the reality you desire. It's not magic or some obscure art. It's a science grounded in neuroscience and psychology. Neuroplasticity, a fundamental concept, plays a pivotal role. It refers to your brain's ability to rewire itself, creating new neural connections based on experiences. It's how learning and memory work. By understanding and leveraging neuroplasticity, you can potentially bend your mind to achieve unparalleled cognitive abilities. Also, there's cognitive bias, systematic errors in thinking that affect decisions and judgments. These biases can cloud your perception and hinder your ability to bend your mind effectively. By being aware of these biases and consciously mitigating them, you can enhance your mind-bending capabilities. Lastly, psychological conditioning, as expounded by Pavlov, can also come into play. By associating certain stimuli with specific responses, you can train your mind to react in desired ways. Mind-bending isn't about defying the laws of nature. It's about understanding them and using them to your advantage. It's about tapping into the untapped potential nestled within your neurons. Chapter 20. Practicing mental agility. Practicing mental agility is much like honing a physical skill. It requires regular, focused effort. Just as you'd train your muscles for a marathon, you need to exercise your brain for the marathon of life. You can't expect to think on your feet or solve complex problems if you've never flexed your mental muscles. To start, you need to identify your mental strengths and weaknesses. This is a process of self-discovery that can be highly informative. You might find that you're a whiz at remembering facts but struggle with abstract concepts. Or perhaps you're a creative thinker but get stumped by logic problems. Once you've identified these areas, you can focus on strengthening your weaknesses and leveraging your strengths. Next, challenge yourself. Just as when lifting weights, it's important to push your limits. You can do this by trying new things and stepping out of your comfort zone. This could be as simple as reading a book on a topic you know nothing about or trying a new hobby that requires a different kind of thinking. Finally, practice mindfulness. This involves paying full attention to what's happening in the present moment and can train your brain to better focus and respond to stimuli. Whether you're washing dishes or speaking with a friend, focus entirely on that task. Pay attention to every detail. This will help you to react more effectively to new situations and to think more clearly under pressure. Chapter 21. Shifting perspectives effortlessly. As you enhance your mental agility, you'll find yourself better equipped to shift perspectives effortlessly. This ability doesn't just come naturally, it's a skill that requires conscious practice and application. But why should you bother? Well, the power to see things from different angles is a major key to tapping into unlimited mental potential. Let's delve deeper. Shifting perspectives is akin to looking through a kaleidoscope. The same scene appears drastically different with each subtle turn. The beauty of this is it allows you to explore multiple solutions to a single problem, leading to more innovative and well-rounded outcomes. To accomplish this, start by challenging your assumptions. They're often the invisible walls that limit your viewpoint. Ask yourself, is there another way to look at this? Or what would happen if I did it differently? You'll be amazed at how this simple exercise can broaden your thinking horizon. Next, seek out diverse experiences and opinions. Engaging with people from different backgrounds or disciplines can provide fresh insights that wouldn't have occurred to you otherwise. It's like adding new colors to your cognitive palette. Lastly, practice empathy. Try to put yourself in someone else's shoes and see the world from their eyes. This not only makes you more understanding, but it also helps to refine your perspective shifting skills. Chapter 22. Developing a growth mindset. Cultivating a growth mindset can be one of the most transformative steps you take on your journey towards mental agility. Unlike a fixed mindset, which views abilities and intelligence as static traits, a growth mindset embraces the idea that these can be developed through dedication, learning, and effort. It's about shifting your perspective from "I can't" to "I can't yet." Adopting a growth mindset doesn't mean ignoring your shortcomings. Rather, it's about acknowledging them as areas ripe for improvement. You're not a failure if you don't ace an endeavor on your first attempt. Instead, you're in the process of learning, refining, and growing. This approach allows you to embrace challenges, persist in the face of setbacks, see effort as the path to mastery, and learn from criticism. The key, however, isn't just understanding the concept of a growth mindset, but actually applying it in your daily life. Start by changing your internal dialogue. Instead of saying "I can't do this," tell yourself "I'm still learning how to do this." Also, celebrate your progress, not just your outcomes. Developing a growth mindset isn't an overnight process. It requires consistent effort and patience, but the payoff is immense. It can boost your confidence, resilience, creativity, and willingness to take risks, all vital for harnessing your unlimited mental power. Remember, the brain is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Your potential is boundless, and a growth mindset is your ticket to achieving it. Chapter 23. Creating novel connections. You may not realize it, but your mind is a powerful tool capable of creating novel connections. Each day, your brain processes countless bits of information, and it's your innate ability to link disparate pieces that can lead to original thoughts and innovative solutions. Think of your mind as a vast network, with each neuron being a city. The roads between these cities are the neural pathways, and it's through these routes that information travels. However, it's not enough to simply have these connections. You need to use them effectively. This is where the concept of divergent thinking comes into play. Divergent thinking is a thought process used to generate creative ideas by exploring many possible solutions. It's not about finding the one right answer, but rather about cultivating a mindset that allows for the possibility of multiple answers. Creating novel connections isn't a passive process. You can't just wait for a groundbreaking idea to fall into your lap. You need to actively seek out new experiences, broaden your knowledge base, and continually question your assumptions. These actions stimulate your brain, fostering the creation of new neural pathways and strengthening existing ones. Think of this as mental cross-training. Just as athletes train different muscles to enhance overall performance, you need to exercise different areas of your brain to boost cognitive flexibility. This flexibility is key to creating novel connections, leading to innovative thinking and problem solving. Chapter 24. Solving wicked problems. What if the problems you face are so complex that they seem almost impossible to solve? You're dealing with a wicked problem, a term coined by design theorists to describe problems that are intricate, multifaceted, and resistant to resolution. These problems are like a Gordian knot, interwoven and interconnected, making it difficult to know where to start. Don't fret. It's not a dead end, it's an opportunity to stretch your mind-bending thinking to its limits. Firstly, acknowledge that wicked problems aren't puzzles with an existing solution waiting to be found. They're unique, without a clear definition, and the solution isn't true or false, but good or bad. You're in uncharted territory, where attempting to solve one aspect of the problem can reveal or create other problems. But don't let this deter you. Instead, see it as an invitation to dive deeper, to unravel the complexities, and to find innovative solutions. Adopt a systems thinking approach. Understand that every part of your problem is connected to the whole. Look for patterns, relationships, and interactions. Analyze how changing one element affects the others. This holistic view allows you to comprehend the problem's full scope and devise solutions that address multiple facets at once. Finally, embrace uncertainty. Wicked problems are riddled with unknowns, and that's okay. It's part of the challenge. Be flexible, adapt your strategies as you learn more, and be ready to pivot when required. Solving wicked problems isn't easy, but it's not impossible. It demands a shift in mindset, a willingness to explore, and an openness to learn. It's all part of your journey towards unlimited power. Chapter 25. Achieving mental clarity. Now, let's turn our attention to achieving mental clarity. You'll first come to understand what mental clarity truly is, then learn various techniques to promote clear thinking. Mental clarity, often seen as an elusive goal, is an essential aspect of achieving greater productivity and peace of mind. It's the state of having a clear, focused mind, free of distractions or mental fog. It's about being able to discern what's truly important and what isn't, which is a fundamental skill in a world full of noise. Imagine your mind as a crystal clear lake. It's calm and peaceful, and you can see everything in it with perfect clarity. That's what mental clarity feels like. It's not about having a blank mind, but rather a mind that's uncluttered, allowing you to focus on what truly matters. Achieving mental clarity isn't just about doing better at work or being more efficient. It's also about improving your overall quality of life. With a clear mind, you're better equipped to handle stress, make decisions, and navigate the complexities of life. It's like having a compass in the wilderness of your mind, guiding you towards your goals. And who doesn't want that? We'll explore techniques for achieving this state in the next section. Delving into techniques for clear thinking, it's essential to recognize that achieving a state of mental clarity isn't a one-size-fits-all journey. Strategies that work for one person may not work for another. It's about discovering what works for you. One effective technique is mindfulness. By focusing on the present moment, you can reduce mind clutter and enhance mental clarity. Regular meditation or intentional silence can also help. These practices train your brain to focus, thereby improving your mental clarity. Another technique is prioritization. A cluttered mind is often the result of trying to focus on too many things at once. By identifying and focusing on your top priorities, you can declutter your mind and enhance your thinking clarity. Last but not least, regular physical activity has been proven to boost brain function and improve mental clarity. Exercise stimulates blood flow and oxygen to the brain, consequently promoting clearer thinking. Understanding the impacts of mental clarity can be a game changer in your personal and professional life. It's akin to seeing through a fog-free lens, enabling you to make decisions with conviction, without the usual cloud of doubt or confusion. When you achieve mental clarity, you're not just clearing your mind, you're enhancing your overall cognitive function. You'll start to notice better memory recall, improved focus, and a heightened ability to absorb new information. In turn, these enhancements can remarkably improve your performance at work and enrich your personal relationships as you're able to listen and communicate more effectively. Moreover, mental clarity can lead to a stronger sense of self-awareness. You'll begin to understand your strengths, weaknesses, and emotional triggers more deeply, giving you a unique advantage when charting life's challenges. Finally, mental clarity can help alleviate stress and anxiety. Don't think this mind-bending journey is too hard for you. It's not. Anyone can change their thinking patterns, including you. Yes, it's challenging, but it's incredibly rewarding too. Embrace the struggle. Break free from conformities. Tap into your creative consciousness. Develop a growth mindset. And remember, every complex problem gives you an opportunity to flex your mental muscles. So start today. Start now. Liberate your untapped mental power and walk the path of unlimited possibilities. Thanks for listening to or reading this from Audiobooks Office.